I think I'll go visit the family today. Meine Cousina, the other day when we were cooking food, you told me about your English class. You told me you had a bunch of questions about the English language, but some of the questions weren't covered in the class. So I started getting ideas. I need to create content for the YouTube channel and you need answers. So let me create some videos for you answering your questions, and maybe after I answer your questions, you'll have some Diet Coke ready for me when I come over to your house. Please, please, I love you. For real though, you mentioned that you had questions about the difference between who and whom. And to be honest, I think that a lot of people have questions about this English conundrum. I think back to my time in school and in university, and to me, the thing about who and whom came across as something you're supposed to know about right off the bat, as if in our childhood there was some secret English club we went to after doing our homework and, taking naps. Now, maybe they did go over it, but I remember paying attention particularly well in English class, and I don't remember the differences between who and whom being brought up. But maybe I was tired, and being a crappy teen at the time, I may have said to myself, I don't need to pay attention to this because it's useless and no one cares and blah 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 blah. It wasn't until my junior year in American Lit class until someone had the courage to raise their hand and ask the professor flat out, what is the difference between who and whom? So my professor, I think we were learning about Benjamin Franklin at the time or something. I don't really remember. And he's like, okay, fine. So he steps aside and this is what he told us. Who refers to the subject of the sentence. Whom refers to the direct object or indirect object in the sentence. To figure this out, write out complete simple sentences like... These 4 completely random sentences, the subjects are Latirical's cousin and Latirical's aunt. So to change them into questions without losing meaning, replace my cousin and my aunt to who. When asking a question and you do not know the direct object or indirect object of a sentence, you can use whom. For example, look at these simple sentences. A rule of thumb, usually words that come after the verb or a preposition require the use of the word whom. But be careful with tricky sentences like this. Although I quite like the sentence, you have to figure out who is the subject of the sentence before deciding whether to use who or whom. You can answer this by asking, who gave a house? My aunt and my cousin. And how very nice of them. Now that you know all of this, I'm going to tell you a secret. Nowadays, it is okay to use who for both subject and the object of the sentence. There's no need to use whom. The reason for this is because the word whom seems to be dying off. In retrospect, that's probably why we never went over who or whom in English class, because it's so old-fashioned looking and sounding. There's nothing wrong with using the word whom, but really listen to yourself and watch how people react when you use that word. You sound like a character from an 1800s novel. In formal writing, you should strive for intense formality, so you should use the word whom quite often. But be careful though, because once you do use it, you can't switch back to using just who. At this point, it's a style choice, but if you don't feel comfortable using whom for any reason, just stick with who. Whatever you do though, don't use whom to refer to the subject. Despite that most people don't know the difference between who or whom and when to use it, they do know instinctively that you can't use whom as a subject. You can get away with it once in conversation, but there are evil English majors out there, very much like myself, that will know when you use the word whom incorrectly, and they will be not nice to you. I hope that this helped, and I love you, cousin. I wait for the days when you dazzle me with your ability to apply who and whom in your text messages to me. I also wait for the days when you and my aunt give me $4,000, because that would be so, so very nice. If you like this type of content, please leave a like or comment and subscribe and ring the bell. And remember, keep writing.